I know you talking about me, you play escape out from me, you make me angry.
Hey guys, it's Omar. It's your friendly neighborhood queer woke black guy. I'm trying to come up with a new slogan to use, but that did not work out that well. It's Yubi. I'm back with another video, and I'm gonna go personal again. You saw my last video. I told you I would actually be talking about my coming out experience. I didn't mean to make it so sudden. I was like, well, why the fuck am I waiting? Like, let me just go ahead and bite the bullet and just tell you the story of how I got from being a scared, crapless, in the closet little dweeb to being out and proud and comfortable in my sexuality and really just ready to go and sit on a dick. Now, I must preface this. There's a lot that goes into my coming out experience. There's a reason why I didn't come out a lot earlier, because a lot happened and a lot was said that kind of kept me in the closet. My family was kind of new to the idea of homosexuality. I'm from a black Christian background. I'm not Christian myself, I'm agnostic, but most of my family is black and Christian and religious. And homosexuality isn't something that is the norm there. So I grew up hearing a lot of homophobic things. I wasn't necessarily ready to apply that to myself and look in the mirror and say, hey, you like dudes, you like men, you keep looking at guys' asses for a certain reason. But I just wasn't ready yet, because I've heard a lot of things that my family said and a lot of things that some of my friends said that were not the nicest and not the most open. So I hid in the closet for a long time. It was hard for me to really accept that part of myself. It just took one day me waking up and realizing this is who I am and this is what I'm gonna be. And I can't hide anymore. I'm just gonna do it. But without further ado, I'll tell you my coming out story right now. In about March of 2015, I broke up with my ex-girlfriend. Me breaking up with her had nothing to do with my sexuality at all. And I was also moving to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania within like a couple weeks for me breaking up with her. So I just decided to say, fuck it, let me start fresh, just let me start new, and let's just live. Let me do this. I think around that time, that's when I kind of started to kind of contemplate and think about do some self-reflection. So I just woke up one day and I remember I listened to a lot of Frank Ocean at this time. At least I listened to like a lot of Channel Orange, and that album really helped me kind of come into my own. And I'll tell you this too, RuPaul's Drag Race has a special place in my heart because it helped me kind of really accept myself and like look in the mirror and say, hey, you like dudes, it's fine. By the April, I was kind of living alone at that time. It's where I had a roommate. I went into the mirror one time and was like, hey, you are bi, you are pan, you don't know exactly what you are, but it's okay. And then my roommate moved in 2 days later and he was fine as hell. So I realized I really did have an attraction to guys. He looked like two things. He looked like a bit like Zac Efron, who I find kind of hot, and he also like one of my favorite porn stars. So I was kind of attracted to him immensely, but he was also kind of a douche, so whatever. I moved back to North Carolina in the summer, and I was kind of planning on telling my parents and my friends, but I mean, I've heard a couple of things that wasn't necessarily that great, so I kind of decided to kind of hide in the closet. And I actually had this idea that I was going to like actually apply to the school in Toronto, Canada, which I would have gotten into. It was super easy to get into. Moved there for about a year and a half, just kind of out and proud and live my truth, and kind of come back to North Carolina afterwards and be like, hey, I'm out and bi and I'm happy. But then I kind of thought back, that wouldn't be right. I would be robbing my family and my friends of an amazing experience of them getting to know me, not out and proud and not in the closet and just hiding and lying pretty much. So I just decided I need to find a good time to actually tell people. It was actually pretty abruptly. I will never forget the day that this happened. It was December 4th, and I was just super stressed out at that time. I was stressed out from my job. I was stressed out from hiding my sexuality. It was just kind of like boiling over, and I didn't necessarily know how to contain it because my anxiety was getting to the point where I was actually in the process of seeking out therapy and also being medicated, not realizing that a lot of my anxiety and this weight on my chest was mostly tied to me kind of hiding this big, deep, dark secret that I've been hiding for 20 plus years. I was like, I want to get drunk and just have a good time and just really just kind of just decompress, because it was a rough few weeks for me. We all went out to a bar. I remember the first moment I got there, I was like, I need a shot of Hennessy. Actually make it a double of Hennessy. I took a double shot of Hennessy and another shot of Hennessy and another shot of Henny. I was fucked up. I was really fucked up at that moment. And it just got to a point where I was letting loose, I was dancing, I was having fun, and I just seemed to be super carefree and not really care about what was going on around me, all the stress that was going on around me. I just kind of was like really letting go. The more I started drinking, the more that my sexuality and thoughts of revealing my sexuality was kind of coming to the precipice of my mind. I pulled one of my roommates aside and we're kind of like talking, just randomly talking. And I don't know why, for a reason, I will never understand this. I was talking to her and I just literally broke down. I just started crying, like in a bar. I don't understand it. She just asked me what was wrong, and I was like, I'm pansexual. It was so dramatic. I am so extra, and looking back, it was so over the top. And it was for no reason. I told her and I told my other friend, and they both were like, I don't give a shit. It just changes nothing between us. And my other two roommates were kind of sitting by themselves because they weren't drinking. And I pulled them over. There's just like tears rolling down my eyes, and I was crying, and they were just like hugging me. And I told them, and I was like, well, is this gonna change anything? They're like, of course not. We've kind of had our suspicions since we first met you, so it doesn't change anything. After that, I just kind of enjoyed myself. I had a carefree night of fun and dancing to Beyonce and having a great time, and realizing that this big weight was off my chest while I was drunk. The next morning, with me being completely hungover, you would think I would walk out of the door like, I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause I make no mistakes, I don't know. It wasn't like that at all, actually. I just remember sitting in my bed for like 3 hours tops. I was thinking and realizing, what did I do? Like, I made a mistake last night. I never would have shared this with anybody. I didn't want to share this with anybody. And I just shared it with like everybody. So I just walked out. My roommate, his door was open. So I was like, well, I had to pass by his room because I had to go get water because I was hung the fuck over. He kind of stopped me and he was like, do you remember anything about last night? And I was like, yeah, I remember I had Hennessy. I remember that I was dancing to Beyonce. And I remember I came out. So that was mad awkward. After that, I just realized that nothing really changed. Like, it was all the same. A lot of this stuff, a lot of the anxiety, a lot of the frustration and this fear was in my head. I was making a lot of this much more than it was. It took a while for me to kind of talk to my roommates about it. I didn't know how to talk to them about it because, like I said, that was the first time me talking to anybody else about it. It just took me some time to warm up and really say, hey, I think this dude's attractive, or I think this person's attractive, and not really give a shit about being judged. Now, that's my first coming out story. I have a second one, the most nerve-wracking that any queer kid would go through, which is coming out to your parents. Me coming out to my mom was something that I kind of made a deadline for. I knew that Pride was happening in August, so my goal was to come out to her at least like a couple weeks before Pride. It was like the very end of April. I remember one of my best friends ever, her name was Bree, and her girlfriend came to my mom's apartment. They were hanging out and chilling, and we were drinking and just kind of talking about life. And at this point, I was getting more comfortable with my sexuality. I've talked to a guy. I've actually like kind of was like dating a guy at that time, and I was more comfortable with talking about my attraction to men and with my sexuality. But still having that conversation with my mom and my family, just knowing that they had a very, very negative view of homosexuality prior to me coming out, it was nerve-wracking. And it's like I said, it's nerve-wracking for any queer person because you don't know how your family will respond. As much as we think that we could be strong, a lot of our validation, a lot of our emotions are tied up to our family. That's our central unit. That's who we came from. And as much as I have a family that's built in with my friends, I still wanted my nuclear family, like my mom and my brother, to accept me and realize that I'm normal and I'm fine, and I shouldn't be outcast because of who I am. I was talking to Bree and her girlfriend, who's also named Bree, and I was like, what should we do tonight? We should play a drinking game. We should do something fun. And I was like, I kind of want to come out to my mom. And they were like, well, do it. Because what kind of pushed me to do it is that both Bree and Bree are lesbians. They're together, actually. But their parents' reaction wasn't necessarily the most positive. And knowing my mom is probably the most accepting of my family of homosexuality. I just kind of was like, what am I waiting for? Like, I'm robbing my mom of this opportunity of her to get to know me and kind of teaching her about the world of homosexuality and queerness and LGBT rights. So I had a shot of Henny again, about 3 shots of Henny, and I had a bottle of wine, and I just sat down. And I know I couldn't do it alone. I know that conversation was so hard to have by myself. So I brought my friends there, my friend Bree and our girlfriend Bree, who I didn't know for long at that time, in the living room with my mom, and we had the conversation. And it lasted a whopping 4 minutes. It went like this: Mom.
Yes, baby.
I got something to tell you.
What is it?
It has something to do with me.
Okay, like what do we have to talk about?
It has something to do with sexuality.
Are you gay?
Kinda. That was basically the conversation in a nutshell. She was like, I don't care. I kind of always had an inkling, always had a clue. I just want you to be safe and happy. And at that time, I wasn't really ready for my family to know. And she ended up being a big mouth and telling my whole family that I like dudes, which some of them have not talked to me about it yet. They're accepting to a certain degree, but they haven't really spoken to me about it. But it was fine. Like, she didn't really care. It was really good. I was happy that I got that acceptance from her. Realizing how lucky I am, and realizing that I have a brother and a mother who accepts me. They may not be fully understanding of my lifestyle. They may not be fully understanding of what I have to go through as not only a queer guy, but as a black queer guy. But they at least understand that they're choosing my happiness over my sexuality. And that's all I could ever ask for. I came out when I was good and ready to come out. I'm glad I wasn't out. It was like elementary school. A lot of people told me they thought I was gay, that I liked dudes, and I wasn't ready to admit it to myself. And I didn't give them the satisfaction of them outing me. I had to come to that consensus on my own. This is who I am, and I'm not going to hide myself for nobody. But you're not going to take my coming out experience away from me. When you come out, it's about you. It's not about anybody else. Do it in a place where you're going to be safe, and you're going to have security in terms of like having a place to stay and being in a safe environment, because a lot of people get thrown out and have horrible lives. I couldn't even wrap my head around that. If my mom and my brother didn't accept me and I was cast out of the household, that would just crush me. But you remember, you have to have a safe and secure environment, and sometimes waiting till you're secure on your own, having a job, having your own place may be the best option, because the blow won't be as bad. Out of anything is live your truth, be happy with who you are. There's nothing wrong with you for being queer. There's nothing wrong with you for being gay, being bi, being demisexual, being pansexual, being trans, being non-binary conforming, agender, whatever you are. You're fine, you're accepted, and you deserve to be loved like anybody else in this world. If you watch this video and you feel like I'm helping you out a little bit by saying that I care about you and I want you to have the love and confidence that I have and a lot of other out people have, please just keep that in your heart and keep that in your mind, because once you reach that point of loving yourself and accepting yourself, literally nothing can stop you. But that's my video for today, you guys. I mean, it was a very positive, cheesy video, but I felt a need to make the video. It's very important to me, and this is something that's gonna really affect my channel and affect my life from here on out. My social media links are below. My Tumblr, my Instagram, my Twitter, and my Snapchat are below. Make sure to follow me on all my social media, because you can see more of me and also give me questions and answers about what you want out of my channel, and what do you want to see? I'd love to do like kind of a Q&A eventually, but I know I don't have that many followers yet. But I'd love to do something kind of regarding sexuality. I have to go. This video is going on long enough. I'll be back next week with another video. And just remember, stay positive, stay happy, keep loving your heart, and I'll see you later. Bye.